Okay, this is Extreme Music TV, and the album I'm reviewing today. It's been a while since I did a video, but wanted to do kind of like a blog. I mean, more of a podcast type channel, and I didn't really, I kind of truly let anybody that's viewed my channel know that. Okay, but the video I'm doing, I mean, the album I'm doing today is from Broken Flesh. They're self-titled, released last year, and I've been wanting to do this video. I just really haven't had the time or to put anything into this channel, and now I'm just barely getting back into it. Okay, Broken Flesh is a band that's been around for quite some time. They started their career in 2000, 2009. If I'm not correct, the album for Forever in Flames is kind of like a more of a grindcore style and very stripped down. Like it had like really bad. It's a really bad sound and quality. The album didn't sound like it doesn't sound like black metal. It sounded more just like it was the just the quality of the sound was terrible, and the vocals really you couldn't really hear the vocals in the mix that much. But it was a I mean when you start out, you usually don't have that much money anyways to get good quality and good sound when you go into the studio. But Forever in Flames has really had some really solid songwriting and solid. It's a solid album. And then of course then came in 2000, if I'm not corrected, no, 2012's EP, Stripped, Stabbed, and Crucified. This album was the album that got me into Broken Flesh. This album was vicious. It was kind of like more of an old school death metal feel to it. It was kind of like an early, almost like maybe I wouldn't say Napalm Death or Cannibal Corpse, but it was more like just an early old school death metal feel. Usually Christian heavy metal is done in death metal is done in the old school style. There's not too many technical death metal Christian bands out there. There's not a big scene for them. So, but this is another what was the album that got me into it. It was so powerful and vicious, and it really got me in. And it was just straight. It's just like a straight ahead pulverization on this album. And of course, their next full length came in 2013 with the awesome, I might add, breakthrough album Warbound. It released in 2013. This album was definitely worth waiting for because it was just devastating. A lot of people are probably going to be confused, but Broken Flesh is not a deathcore band. Okay, deathcore has the vomit vocals, has the kick screwing, has the grind, but it doesn't. It has the screams included, and Broken Flesh does not do that. That was the I think their more earlier stuff was more like grindcore and old school death metal, and Warbound's more like a slam death metal. Okay, this is slam death metal. Broken Flesh is not deathcore. Okay, it might. Okay, keep in mind that slam death metal uses breakdowns, but they usually stay like on the first four or five frets. They don't go any lower than that. But Broken Flesh is definitely leading up to the 2015's self-titled album that I wanted to talk about. I just gotta give you guys a little brief history if you don't know what Broken Flesh is. And the album is just one of the heaviest albums I've ever heard in 2015. It was awesome. The song starts out, I mean, the album started out with the Valley of Mass Crucifixion, and it just sets the tone where if you don't expect a Christian band to play this heavy or this extreme, you probably might want to listen to this album. It's just, I'm not kidding around. This album is totally devastating. It kind of beats Impending Doom it packs a punch, man, because this is an album that really gives you like an impression that Broken Flesh is not going to tone it down anytime soon. It's been kind of a progressively gotten heavier album to album, and because of Warbound was such a great album, it was like it really got my attention. And I know this band is relatively unknown, and because they're Christian, it's kind of hard for people to probably get into them. But once you hear the music, you're like completely sold out. Songs like Blood Harvest. Yeah, like I said, this album is like a, just think of like a one of those violent pit bull attack videos or something it posted. Anybody remember that one series, that videotape series called The Faces of Death? I think the attack on this album was equal to that, because next comes up Consumed by Death. There's a music video on it. It's just, and I'm really glad bands need to do more music videos, because there's not a whole lot of, like, there's not a whole lot of, Headbangers Ball is gone again. It disappeared, so we don't really have, bands don't really have like any kind of outlet for them to do any to promote their music. And I think Broken Flesh needs to do more videos, that's for sure. Next up, Buried Alive is like I said, in Hell, in Cries of the Dead, Forever in Flames. It's kind of like it's a re-recording of the classic first album, Forever in Flames. So those of you that don't know Broken Flesh, Unworthy's awesome, Exalt, and the songs that I just mentioned around, like Buried Alive in Hell, just, there's breakdowns. It's just, this is growling, really deep growling. There's kind of levels to it. It sounds okay. Just think of like Nile. There's different styles of growling and a little bit of Dying Fetus in here, and you'll probably get the understanding of what it, the type of musical vocal attack on here. And Unworthy is awesome. Exalt, and let me see if I can pronounce the song title. Igonami. That this is one of the standout tracks on this album. That just the opening vocals on it's just vicious, totally devastating, brutal, heavier than your usual death metal band, heavier than Dying Fetus, probably heavier than Nile. Nile's probably one of the most well-known brutal death metal bands out there, because you can't, and By His Blood and Hate, and the album, like I said, this album is, there's not really any dynamic on this album. It's just a straight ahead pulverization. This is like a nuclear assault. If there was a nuclear war, I think this album would be the soundtrack to it, because it's just totally unforgiving, unwavering, uncompromising, unapologetic devastation. And I really enjoyed this album. But if you're looking for something like any experimentation like Opeth or something like that, you're not going to find it here. This is just a straight up brutality. This is not for the faint of heart, and I definitely highly recommend this album to you guys. And subscribe to this blog, support this podcast, and I will definitely see you guys. So subscribe to this channel, like this video if you're into heavy metal, no matter what type it is, whether it's any type. You might want to check. Might want to check out more of my videos. I just have a ton of videos since last year, I think. So, okay, you guys will be hearing from me soon.